this brings up a different discussion, right? And I didn't even expect to kind of go down this rabbit hole. But do you ever think that the NFL will get to a point, Evan and Logan, where it becomes more of a player leagues? Because I feel like, I don't know if you guys have realized that the last couple of years, it feels like the players are trying to take control of the league in certain situations. You can go all the way back to Le'Veon Bell trying to control the narrative of where, he didn't want to sign the franchise tag or the tender, whatever it was, for Pittsburgh. He sat out the whole year. Then you had Antonio Brown. Well, I don't want to play for the Raiders. I didn't want to play for the Bills. You're not going to trade me to Buffalo. I want to play with Tom, and he forced his way there. Then you had OBJ force his way out of Cleveland. And
Stephon Diggs basically forced his way out of Buffalo.
You've had, so I've seen more of a growing anthem, if you will, of players forcing themselves out of their current situations and making it work for them. And I think a lot of that comes down to, you think about it, they're friends with other players and other leagues and associations, right? Damn, you got control where you can go do that.
My question is, yes, there has been a more upward trend of that, but I wonder if that's not more GMs know what they can get back in return for that kind of haul, where if, hey, I don't have to worry about negotiating for contracts, and then now I get 2 first-round picks and another player or something like that, and then you have to give him some big contract, and that's going to make me look better because you had to pay him top of market, because like Jamal Adams, when he got traded, 2 first-round picks, okay, I'm walking in with a blank check, and you better fill that in for whatever I want, because otherwise you just traded 2 first-round picks, and if you don't get a deal done with me, I leave.
Yeah,
you're fucked. You're fucked. So, I feel like in that sense, yes, you maybe have a little bit more power as the player, but I also think it's the GMs just being like, hey, like I can get a haul for this and look like a winner and get a bunch of young, cheap assets. Cool. I'm all right with that. That usually works out for us. But yeah, it's so tough, man. The NFL, they have franchise tags and crazy amounts of fines that they can give you for a lot of the leverage, right? For an NBA player is being able to hold out, right? You've got the guaranteed contract. You're still getting paid no matter what. But as for a player, if you're not playing in games, you're missing out on a big paycheck that you need, because again, you've got a short window of your career that's primed, right? You're not able to have the longevity that a standard NBA player does. The average NFL career is 3 years long versus NBA. I'm sure it's a lot longer. Where you can play when you're 28, 30, 35, right? And you're not dealing with the medical issues that come down the road. So I agree that I think there's a little bit more player ability to dictate where they want to go. But in terms of like negotiations and real kind of leverage when it comes to contracts, the franchise tag just holds so much weight, power. and the owners love it, because you remember with Saquon tried to hold out. There's plenty of people who have tried to hold out. Le'Veon's the only one who really held out for 10 whole weeks and said, I'll wait, and no one else has really been willing to do that.
But I also think that's why people have, like, especially when you look at the NBA, a lot of people are fans of players versus teams, because it's very difficult to keep said player because a player might leave, right? And you definitely don't want the NFL to get to that point. No. But I do wonder with the next collective bargaining agreement coming up, whenever that is, I do wonder, will players try to get I mean, it's always them trying to gain more control. But I will say this, they're already talking about, hey, we know the NFL's ultimate goal is to add an 18th game. We know that. We know that's something that they want to do, right? Well, the player is like, all right, can we add another bye week in there?
Yeah.
To make it work for us, right? Because I do think that you could start to see some crossover with the load management for NFL players. You might be missing out on a paycheck. You might not see it from the lower level players, but it's a lot like the NBA. You might see it from some of these star players, because does it make sense for me to put my body on the line? Right? Does it make sense for me to put my body on? Am I being properly compensated to the point where I got to play through certain injuries and certain things? And is it a game that's meaningful, right? If I'm playing the goddamn Panthers, am I really going to be out there like, yo, I need to be out there on the field? Or would I rather be healthy to play the Chiefs, right? In a big game for our team.
I think a lot of that, like the whole NBA discourse and stuff compared to it too, is it kind of just came to mind when you're talking about the lower level of players. I mean, we take a guy like Tanner Hudson, who was a practice squad guy. He's not even making $1 million. You know what I mean? But then you have, I don't want to say random NBA players, but you have a guy who has a crazy, like Jock Landale for the Rockets this year. He signed like a 3-year, $50 million deal. And like, what has he done? Nothing, So it's like, it's these players that the lowest level of the NBA are getting paid multiples of millions of dollars year in and year out, to where these lower level NFL guys are, not getting not that they're not getting much. Obviously, $900,000. It's plenty of money, but like compared to going out there and being a practice dummy for people or getting on the games and just getting out there and getting rocked time in and time again is a lot different than just going out there and sitting on the end of the bench and just enjoying your view. You know what I mean? Like it's different.
And I think that's the part where, okay, I'm starting to connect the dots a little bit here. But I think that's the part where the NBA does so well. And we don't talk about it enough. The NBA is so involved overseas.
Yes, I was going to bring
with other and
NFL you can go play elsewhere,
and that's what the NFL is trying to do. That's a whole nother point of revenue that we haven't even that the NFL
they just don't have the international access. That I feel like this is kind of getting into like a big macro discussion that we're having here.
But that's State of the Jungle for you.